Welcome back to our first live Watching the Throne on the Late Night Chat Network, episode 84. All right, welcome back, everybody. And if this is your first time tuning into this show and you just wanted to hear us recap the newest season of House of the Dragon, welcome. We will be doing these shows weekly for the next 8 weeks because I believe there's only 8 episodes in this season, they've said. And I think we're going to be trying to do them Wednesdays at 9 p.m., kind of similar to tonight. But if we are, if we do it on a different day, it might be like a Monday or a Tuesday. So make sure to follow us on Instagram for up-to-date updates as to like when we are going to be having these episodes, and that's at Late Night Chat Network. You can also hit the notification bell underneath the video to be notified of when these go out. But this is a little bit different for us here today. We're no stranger to doing live shows here, of course, on the Late Night Chat Network. We do our weekly or I guess now bi-weekly shows here of Late Night Chat, as always. But this is new for this show. So we've done these shows. We've pre-recorded these ones because we had a lot to get through previously, as we've done all of the seasons of Game of Thrones. And then we've done just this past couple of months, we cranked out this first full season of House of the Dragon in time to kind of get ready for the second season here. So we figured we'd do something different for our format for this one. And we've kind of, left it open, invited fans of the show, that people that have come on the show before, to join us. And of course, we got the main three here that have been doing the last couple of seasons of all of House of Dragon, the whole final season of Game of Thrones. We have Christina joining us once again here today. What's going on, aka the Big Cheese there?
Not much. I'm really excited. Season 2 started. Seemed like forever, but we're here. And we're into it.
We made it. And it's been a lot of fun because we honestly only finished recording and covering the first season of House of the Dragon after rewatching it a couple of weeks back. So this is a lot of fun. It's been really nice to kind of step into watching the new season, having just finished watching the last one. One of the few times I've actually taken the time to actually do that for a new show, because I don't have time usually to do that these days, right?
Yeah, honestly, I'm so happy we did, because watching this episode, I was like, I wasn't as lost as I would have been if I had waited the 2 years.
Right.
So I'm like, oh, okay, I get it now. I know exactly what's happening.
Right, exactly. So it did help in that regard, and it was a lot of fun doing it. And if you guys haven't seen those episodes, you want to hear us talk about season 1 of House of the Dragon, as well as a bunch of episodes of Game of Thrones, you can check out Christina, who's basically been the third chair for a bunch of episodes with us on Watching the Throne, and has done a great job. But of course, we got also JT, aka Aegon, here in the house. What's going on, Jay?
What's going on? Sorry about that. I went to go check settings something, then it just jumped me off. I was hearing everything you were saying. So,
what would our live shows be without technical difficulties on the time?
I tried to get Jay to keep his name as like Jay Tieris or something, but he wanted to be Aegon. So
I know that would have been
maybe in the next show.
He's a nice guy, man. What the fuck? Leave him alone.
But yeah, so JT had never seen Game of Thrones up till about a year ago when we first started doing this show, Watching the Throne, here on the Late Night Chat Network. We basically, JT had first seen House of the Dragon 2 years ago now, when the first season aired. He liked that. He said, I'd never seen Game of Thrones, and kind of played with the idea of finally watching it. And I said, hey, you know what? Why don't we do a show based around it, where you go back, you watch the shows for the first time. I'll watch it for only the second time, because I've never gone back and rewatched the show, and we'll cover it episode by episode. And we've had Christina on, we've had a bunch of other guests on to join us. Hopefully I will be joining us this season for House of the Dragon. as well that we invited on to drop in. So we kind of wanted to keep this as a more open, free-flowing kind of conversation, because this is a live recap week to week of the episodes. We're all experiencing this show for the first time, unlike when we kind of did Game of Thrones in the last season, when we come back here and rewatched it and talk about it. So it's a lot of fun. Jay, I know you having watched Game of Thrones for the first time and then leading right into House of the Dragon again here. What are you thinking about this now? How hyped were you for this episode?
Well, I didn't talk to anybody on Monday like you guys. I know the feeling that you guys are talking about now when you guys said that you guys wouldn't talk to people after watching Game of Thrones. And Nico had given me a heads up because he wasn't going to watch it on Sunday, so he didn't get a chance to. So I was like, but I didn't end up watching it. I figured, let me catch up with some other shit quickly before I get into this, because once I get into this, I'm gonna have to sit there and it's a process, especially thinking with this one, man. It was fun because everybody I know that watched this had to go back to the first season, the last couple episodes, to get it, and it was nice because we had just finished watching it again, and we got to do this, right? So we got to roll right into the next season.
Am I the only one, again, that's watched this episode more than once?
No, I watched it twice.
Okay.
I watched it 2.5 times, if you want to say this time.
Okay. Okay. Because I was like, guys, really?
No, we both watched it for the first time Monday. Me and JP, we waited. We didn't watch it Sunday night. And I watched it again today, actually, before recording. So, yeah, I've watched it twice now. You as well, I guess? You watched it twice? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, initial thoughts. Christina, what'd you think?
No, I really enjoyed it. I wasn't expecting this. Like, I didn't think it was gonna turn out or end this way. I knew it was gonna be bloody, or I knew like the season was gonna be bloody, but I guess in true House of the Dragon fashion, they gotta like start the season off with like a banger. And I was like, I was actually a little taken aback. I was like, what?
Yeah, that was fucking brutal. And I mean, I'm actually glad for once I haven't read the material, like the book, because I had seen a lot of comments of people saying like, oh, I thought that's how the first season was going to end, because this really takes place like days after the events of what happened in the finale of the first season, right? With her son dying there. And this was just a brutal fucking end to the episode, which we'll get to. I'm actually going to bring it up. I'm going to see if I can replay that horrible fucking sound that happens here for everybody. No, we need to experience it once more. Because like that honestly was the most unsettling thing about that scene. Like they really stepped it up in the sense that we're not going to show you this horrible thing, but we're going to make this crazy ass noise as us like sawing a head off of a child. Like that's how brutal it was. No, really, I mean that's what happened, right? Like let's talk about it. It was brutal. It was fucking brutal at the end of the episode.
Yeah.
But they could have actually shown it. Like for fuck's sakes, they showed everything else on this damn show already. Everything from
child,
they've showed just about everything on this show. It's still a show. Yes, but it's not a real child if they're cutting its head off.
I think it's a good choice that they didn't show it this time around. I know what you mean, that they've showed quite a lot.
Why?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, you listen, they might show the head next episode because they took his head off. You never know. But like, I think the sound.
That's what I mean.
I think the sound is bad enough. Like the sound was bad enough.
I don't want it in real life. I want to see it as an act. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I hope that they're not doing it in real life.
I don't know. He watches a lot of serial killer type stuff, Christina. You know who you're talking to over here? Yeah. But
I'm pretty sure other people want to see it too, not just me.
That's soundbite. Are you serious? We're gonna play this? Oh God, okay.
Yeah, I'll bring it up while we're talking.
Great.
I could probably make it like that,
You need to have a drink.
Sorry.
Yeah,
God,
I got one right here.
This is what happens live.
Cheers.
Yeah, JT knows that we can't cut any of this stuff out in the moment, so he's like, let me just go off here. I thought it was great. I mean, honestly, I thought it was really good because they're already following up on previously established characters. I thought the pacing was really well done in this episode, like really well done. They kind of touched on everybody from the end of the last season, and it kind of did feel like just a continuation from moment to moment from the last episode leading into this. Like, even though we did wait a full 2 years, I think they were able to capture it in the sense that, other than obviously, like, it looks like either some actors changed or they really aged up in those 2 years of us waiting for this to come out.
Yeah, I feel like the wig situation has gotten like 10,000 times better. Like the blonde or the silver is like
Right.
more silvery. Like Damon's hair looks way more silvery than it did in season 1. So I'm just like, they upgraded, like their wig budget went up, thank God, because I had some comments about that, and
Another thing they improved on was Myseria's fucking weird ass accent. Like, it
she
was
still
almost,
has it though.
but it's not as, it is not as bad as it was, I think, in the first season. And it's funny because I know we talked about it on this show, but like, little did we know when I actually looked that up after we had recorded that episode. Apparently, it's a big thing in the fan community. Like, people, it's not like we're alone in being like, what the hell is up with that accent? That is like a thing that, like, even when I was looking at one of the recaps about this episode that somebody else had mentioned, like, yeah, like you just said, it's still there, but it's not as overbearing as whatever that weird ass accent was that she employed in that first season. And apparently, like, there was a method to the madness, like, in her mind, because that woman apparently is from 2 different regions. It's just like some weird mishmash of, like, you know what I mean? Like, it was a choice, obviously. I don't know what kind of a choice it was necessarily, but that was a weird ass accent from Mysteria. I don't think it was that apparent here in this episode, though. You still thought, like, I think it's still there, but not as, like, you know what I mean? Like, you thought it was still like a weird kind of accent.
Yeah, I still was just like, she needs to take the cotton balls out of her mouth, put the tongue back in. I don't know, like, just like she was very much.
Maybe it was just because she's more soft spoken in this one. I don't know.
I don't know. I just think it's weird. Also, like, how she got introduced, like, back into this. And I know in, like, we last left her off, her mansion had gotten, like, burned down. So she didn't really have anywhere to go. But it's like,
Right.
why was she on a ship? Like, I guess she was on the ship to Dragonstone, but it just didn't seem like something she would do. Like, why would she go there? Why didn't she just leave? Like, why is she still...
Yeah, she was obviously selling information, as we found out in this one, to Otto there, and even he was kind of
Yeah.
like, yeah, if you would think if she's doing that she could take the gold and, like, go off somewhere,
Just
right?
go away. Like, you know that there's going to be a war. Why are you headed toward more danger? Like, you're just an idiot.
But I mean, she was instrumental in putting this into motion, this whole
Okay.
son for a son kind of thing, right? Because she's the one
Son.
yeah. She was the one that basically let them know about the turncoat Kingsguard guy that was basically that they employed to pull this off, right? Along with the rat catcher. So there was a purpose, at least, for her being there in that sense, right? How about you, Jay? How much did you really like this first episode? Like, do you think it was like a return to form, or like I think like I thought it's even the new characters they established in this, I thought, like, they did a really good job because they're kind of already setting it up. It seems like with new people, like there's that blacksmith character, there's the Alan guy that Corliss there met that saved his life, which we didn't even see. That whole battle was done off screen last season, which I'm sure was due to budgetary reasons. But what do you think of it, Jay? Did you really like this or what?
This first episode, yeah. I mean, this whole thing I enjoyed. I mean, you know me, bro. I started watching this show, and that's what got me into watching the Game of Thrones. So, to be honest with you, this is where my head is at right now. So I enjoyed this whole episode. I think they did a really good job of quickly explaining a bunch of things. You're getting to meet some characters and stuff that some families and names and stuff that maybe we've already heard in the Game of Thrones. We've already so it's interesting and it's fun to see. I just want to see when's action is gonna happen. Like we always know that they have their action, but I mean they had to cover, like you said, 2 years of absences and stuff. Like people
Right.
do get older too. That's another thing. You see a few age jumps in this one right away as soon as you watch it. So I mean that was interesting, and it took me a second to clue in, but you know that's why some
Yeah.
people I think actually had to go back and rewatch the following episode, right? Sorry,
Did
the
either
previous episode.
Did either of you guys watch the there was like a special, I guess HBO played before this that kind of was like a 10-minute thing kind of talking about the production of this second season? Did anybody watch
No.
that, either of you? No, I
I
gotta go.
didn't know that was exist. I didn't know that. I'll watch it now that I know it exists, but I didn't know it existed.
Yeah, I just came across it
Where I
online.
streamed it. Where I streamed it, unfortunately, it didn't. That part was actually muted, but the
Right.
rest of the show wasn't muted, which was I thought was weird.
I didn't watch that part
It's
either
only like 20
as of
minutes.
yet. Actually, though, we have already talked about it, and like since there's only going to be 8 episodes of House of the Dragon, and we're a whore for the content here, we want to get this. We want to get these episodes of Watching the Throne up to episode 100. We've all talked here, and we probably will be doing and talking and discussing talking about and discussing the various specials, like making of specials and stuff like that. And there was like a few shorts that they did for the Game of Thrones as well as House of the Dragon. Now House of the Dragon has had a whole season of like the production behind the scenes for the first season, and they're going to be doing it again for this season. So we've already talked about it. Once this show ends, we're probably going to move on and maybe do some of that stuff, cover some of that stuff on the show here, because it kind of still falls under the whole Game of Thrones thing, because we're gonna have run out of material for a full other year, right? So
I like how
Right,
Nico put that. He's like, we're whores for this stuff. We're big, dirty slut bags, big whores.
listen, we say that all the time, me and Jay, about ourselves. We're horse for the content over here. We gotta get those numbers up. We gotta pump those stats.
We gotta get to 100.
We got
I
all
know. I'm totally. My ADHD is like, kicked in. I'm just like my OCD.
Yeah.
I gotta like.
Nico's like,
Gotta get to
"Can we
100.
You think we could do this? You think we could do this? Oh yeah. I said,
Yeah, we
"There's
gotta
something
come
making
up-
of the dragon." He's like, "Oh, we could do that too."
It was Christina that really pushed for it, actually,
I
and then
did.
I just went along with it. I was like,
You
"Yeah,
did.
sure." I was like, "This is what I want to hear. This is great."
You know,
I
for
even
somebody
suggested
that-
playing the game, like the
That's
Game
right.
of Thrones Risk game, and doing
That's
it
right.
live. Like that's
for somebody who wants
insane.
to put off.
Listen,
Somebody
we've
wants
got
to
a
put
flood
less.
of new subscribers, so we need to put these shows out there, right, for
If
everybody.
anyone has any suggestions, like if they want to see something specific, we're happy. We're whores for this.
Yeah, we're who?
All right, you don't have to be, but we will be. All right.
We're down for it. We're down for anything.
Hey,
No.
what's going on to the goat? What's up, man? How you doing?
Hey, brother, get him to do me a favor.
Does he watch
so
this show?
that's
Does
why.
the goat watch this show? Goat, do you watch this? or what?
I think he did watch the House of Dragons one. I don't know if he started to watch this one yet.
Yeah, let us know, goat, if you're up to date on this. I'm just bringing it up on my phone. Sorry, the scene of the brutal scene. I want to play that sound in a minute here. What else? You know what? I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I thought that this episode, when it opened up, I got real excited because I thought that was Jon Snow talking at the start of this. Did you guys think that as
Hey, I
well?
was just gonna say the same thing.
Right?
I was so excited.
Yeah, I thought it was John, and then you found out that it's what's his name here? I have it written down. Kragan Stark at the wall there in this first one, but I thought it was
Stark.
yeah, I know.
Still
But
start.
wasn't it awesome though to get back to the wall and see the Starks and everything like that? Like,
Oh yeah.
I thought
yeah.
that was the best intro I could have
And
asked
they
for.
played the
right? I was like,
Winterfell music,
Mhm.
like that slow little like viola, like
yeah, that was awesome. Like right from jump, I was like into it, like back in. I was like, yes.
But wait, we're going right back to like that, but like we totally skipped the entire intro.
Yeah, well, go ahead. Why
So I
don't
was
you
gonna
let
say,
us know what
did
happened?
anybody notice?
Any thoughts with the
anybody notice?
intro, guys? It was I heard about this
So-
before the show aired, but I
Okay.
didn't want to say anything to you in case you guys didn't hear about it. So I'm like, okay, I'll wait to discuss on this show.
Right.
But yeah, thoughts?
I liked it. I
thought it was
don't know
tripping out at
everything.
first.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's basically just like a
Okay, it's not up to date. Yeah, well, it's the first episode, Goat. You got to get caught up. This is only one episode out, and there's only 8 episodes this season.
we're
so
literally gonna spoil everything for you tonight, though. So,
I guess we should give a
It's
spoiler
go ahead
alert
if
for
you
this,
wanna hear it,
eh?
hang it.
well, if they've tuned in, like they're tuning in for a recap, like
It's true.
But
yeah, go ahead. What'd
the
you think?
opening this season, it was the the entire story history of the Targaryen and Valerians, and I thought it was great. Apparently, season 1 opener, which is very similar to Game of Thrones opener with the cogs of the wheel and like all of these things like coming up and down, whatever. It didn't hit, like it didn't show or wasn't as obvious. So they changed it for this season to a tapestry that anyways, it depicts it more. So it starts from like way back, like the how the Targaryens and the Valerians moved from old Valyria to Westeros, and what they call the Doom, which basically wiped out everyone else. The Doom being this big volcano that just came and like wiped out all the other Targaryens.
Okay.
Wait, do you not know any of this? Like, do you not know this story? Oh, the backstory?
No, this is all news to me. That's why, like I said, I thought it was cool, but I also didn't really probably get a lot of the references that were
so
in the intro. I mean, it's really cool that they tell like a story of sorts, though. In that,
it's the story of the Targaryens, and the Valerians.
Yeah.
So okay, I don't know all the names, so I'm not going to get, and I didn't nerd out that much, but I did, but I didn't. So they all lived in Valyria. This place called Valyria, which they reference all the time. They talk about it all the time. But one of the Targaryens had a dream, one of the kings, he had a dream that there was going to be this like disaster. So he and his family like moved to Westeros, and some of the Valyrians followed. And shortly after they did, there's a huge volcano that erupted and wiped out all of Valyria.
Okay.
And so the line of succession with the Targaryens and the Valerians that exist in the world that we're watching are descendants of the king, and so far that had the dream and moved to Westeros. So they're the only one. That's why they don't ever go back to Valyria. That's why they don't ever have any other ancestors, Targaryens, across the Narrow Sea anywhere else, because they don't exist anymore. Valyria doesn't exist anymore. They're wiped out.
So by like some cataclysmic, like event, like a volcano. You're saying it was like a volcano.
It was a volcano that totally like erupted, and they called it the Doom.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, then all the dragons, a lot of the dragons were wiped out also at that point. Anyways, like, but the ones that exist now, like Vhagar, she existed during the Doom, but she came across with the king and everybody at that time. Like, so
that's interesting. I didn't know any of that.
Yeah, she's like thousands of years old.
Right.
So that's that. And anyways, the tapestry in the beginning like shows that, but then also shows all the like major kings that came after that, and up till present day. You can see you could see Aegon sitting on the Iron Throne, and then split with like Rhaenyra sitting on the throne at Dragonstone. Anyways, if you watch it, you'll see all these different things. Like, it's just like a
given that information, I am going to go back and rewatch it now. Yeah, because like I said, that went right over my head. Man. There's a lot of stuff. Obviously, I think it would benefit you if you had read the books, obviously. But then I like kind of being in the dark a bit, though, because I know there's people that have already talked to me about it that already kind of know events that are going to be happening this season based off of the book, right? So like, I actually am glad that I don't know for once, because I am experiencing all this for the first time. But it does help, because I know that it always adds an extra layer to the stuff that you're watching as well, and there's stuff that will be in the book that might differ from the show sometimes, right?
I agree with you. I'm totally like I'm love being in the dark with this show, knowing that there's a book and people know whatever, like especially like your name, Blood and Cheese. People on the internet were talking about this, and I had no idea what the hell they were talking about until after the fact, after watching the episode like the 2 times, and then doing little reading about like, oh, what does this mean? What does that mean? Then I understood what it meant. But like, people who read the books were all about it. I had no idea what the hell they were talking about, and I kind of liked that I was living in my little ignorant bubble. Which
apparently, I think I was speaking to Kyle today, who might come on as a guest at some point, and I think he was the one that was telling me that in the book it's actually more brutal even than the way that they depict, like the way they went about it in the show. Yeah, and Blood and Cheese, JT, is the guy, the big dude at the end that went and did that. he was Blood, and the rat catcher's name was Cheese. Essentially, that was like their nicknames, right? So, or their names. I think his actual name, right? The rat catcher, at least something that they called them, right?
I just
I don't know if it's his actual
at the
name. It's
moment
like their
there, you
nickname,
guys said
right?
something
Yeah,
about-
that's
No, never mind. I'll have to skip that. Forget we're live on this one. I'll get it.
We're not talking about a late night snack, JT.
Oh, I wasn't
But
talking
yes.
about that late night snack either. We'll get into that one too.
Yeah, well,
yeah. So
I think we're talking about the same late night snack, but we're just going right over each other's heads.
but that's basically where those names came from, right? Like from what I've read, like that was their names, right? Those two guys, the rat catcher, which kind of makes sense because he's the rat catcher, right? And you know, rats like cheese, right? So it's kind of fun, like in that regard. I really like that, learning about that today when I was looking that stuff up. So but yeah, I don't know. Is there anything else like in terms of just like general things about the episode that you want to touch on before we get into it here, and then we can talk about some of the specific scenes that occurred?
Remember last?
Oh, Christina froze up for a second. Just one.
Oh,
It may not be frozen on your end, but we'll wait a moment.
So, yeah.
But what you
I,
think, Jay, about you know, you were upset because you didn't get a lot of dragon action this episode, or what? There was some stuff.
No, not at all. It's not that. What happened is I know there was a lot to take in. There was a lot to take in for this first episode because they're starting to build some alliances and stuff like that, and they're trying to figure out what's going to happen and the interesting stuff that's going to happen.
There
Obviously.
we go. Yeah, it happens. All right, all good. Yeah, but go ahead, Jay. Yeah, you were saying?
It happens to me every show. Don't worry. So if it's me next, don't worry. But yeah, no, I just like all the little things that you have to really sort of pay attention to in this one. It's not, and this whole way of doing it, I got myself a little nervous writing stuff down. So obviously I did, my usual scene to scene, right, and kind of picked out what I liked. But yeah, no, it's a little bit to take in, a little bit to absorb, because you want to follow some of these characters that they kind of mentioned in this one, because you're gonna wonder where they're gonna come back to play. Like I still think the blacksmith is gonna come back to play. The black.
Yeah, he's going to be a big character this season, I believe. Yeah, him and like, but that's what I mean. Like even the people they already in the first episode, I feel like they introduced us to a couple of people that are going to become big characters throughout this season. Also, we know that Aegon's going to have a way bigger part this season than he did in the first season, right? I mean,
He looks like a badass with that patch. I'm sorry.
No, that's
No,
you're
sorry,
talking.
Aemon.
Yeah. No, I'm talking about the king there. So, or
Oh, mine. With me. Sorry,
yeah. He,
I forgot.
yeah, he I think is gonna obviously he's gonna be a big character because he's one of the kings on one side, right? That they feel they should be king. But I think he did a really good job, that actor, this episode. Actually, I think he really is kind of taken on this
Sure.
role now. Like I think I'm actually really excited to see how it plays out with him this season, because I thought that he did a really good job as him. And I feel like last season you didn't really have too much to do other than like he was whining about like trying like becoming the king, and he was hiding half the time, and we kind of seen
jerking out of
jerking
windows.
outside of a window. Yeah.
I
So
don't see that stopping. I mean, to be honest with you, I don't see that
Well-
stopping. I think you see him still doing it.
well, we can get into it here. So basically, this takes place just a few days after the events of the season 1 finale. King Viserys is now dead, and his council has conspired to put Aegon II on the throne instead of Rhaenyra. Alicent thinks Viserys said Aegon's name and like as he was dying, which he did, but he didn't mean this Aegon. But he had said Rhaenyra, but he had said Aegon's name, so Alicent thinks that was his final wish before he died. Rhaenyra went back to Dragonstone, and basically when she was trying to assemble people to help her army grow her army to go up against them and claim what's hers, because that was her father's actual wishes. Her son went out there, not Jacaerys,
Lucerys.
Lucerys, yeah.
and got knocked off the dragon by Aemon there, and and died. So,
Yeah.
and this is them basically now having basically receiving this information in this episode and kind of touching on everything that's happening as a result of this, like as these two people basically, are getting prepared now to go to war. Against each other, right? I think that's we're left off here at the beginning of this episode. So much so, her other son Jacaerys there in this first scene, he meets with Cregan Stark at the wall because, and they were supposed to go out there. Him and Lucerys were supposed to basically collect people to help out their efforts, right? And he was already was at the wall meeting with the Starks and to get their help when he gets the news that Lucerys has died, right? So
by Raven, you know how long it takes for a fucking Raven? A couple days, at least a week.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like Canada Post. So
it's about the same amount of time, actually.
Nice one.
Yeah, have you ever lost a package in the mail, Jay?
No, I don't do on mail or whatever.
Yeah. I love this first scene, honestly. Like, I like the fact that the Starks, even in this time period, are going to stick by them. They're still loyal. It's just like the trait of their people, right? I think like their house. So I think it's nice to see that. Yeah, I like to see that they said that they're going to stand by them because they've already sworn to help her stand by their house and everything, or by Rhaenyra. And I just loved being back at the wall, being back in this part of the world again in Game of Thrones, because we didn't have any Stark action in the first season, right? So that was very welcomed. I kind of loved the intro to this episode. Well,
I find that with that. I find with that one that with him explaining to him that the Stark's oath and stuff like that, and the Stark couldn't give away everything. They're still trying to build that castle, that wall. I mean, that wall looks so virgin compared to the way we've seen it before. You know what I mean? If that makes any sense. It petite. It didn't look very big, and it looked like it was just starting it.
Well, he talks about it. This is where it kind of gets the first mention about the winter is coming. Like he warns them. Yeah, he's like, "Do you think we build these walls to keep these other people out?" He's like, "No, we want to keep the darkness or the dead." Or I forgot what he says. The dead out.
Said death.
Death out. Yeah. So that was kind of interesting.
But he offered some graybeards. What are the graybeards? That's what I'm trying to think.
Old guys.
Old men.
Yeah.
Like you.
That's it? Like me?
Yeah, seasoned vets. Seasoned vets. He's like, that's why. He's like, well, listen, I can give you some seasoned vets. He's like, well, listen, I'll gladly take them. He's like, they'll fight hard for you.
That's why Nico whores me out to every show. That's why.
Oh, that's what his name should have been.
Graybeard.
Yeah, that should be your name from now on.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jay. It's all love.
Yeah.
Graybeard the Old. That's your new name from now on. I'm going to change.
Graybeard the Old.
I love it. Or Graybeard the Bald. How about that one?
Oh, here we go. Let's just keep thinking of names, like they did at the
end. But then you kind of get this quick scene where we cut back to Rhaenyra and Dragonstone, and she's fucking just a mess, distraught, obviously, because she just lost her son, right? There's that whole scene that we cut to very quickly after that, and then we kind of get this whole setup with now we see Daemon and Rhaenys, him giving Rhaenys shit about the fact that she had her chance at killing
Aegon
at the coronation, and she fled instead, which he kind of gave her shit for last episode too. But now, given that he was directly responsible in killing Lucerys, he really is fucking giving her shit here. Like, you should have fucking did something about this kid, and now look at what happened, right? Like, he was kind of really giving her a hard time about that, right? So
I have to say, this scene, badass. Like, the way that the dragon just pulled up, like it was a plane just letting off cargo, like pulled up, went up on the stone, let her off, and then just like scurried away. Like it was like next on the tarmac, like next.
That's a lot of training, man. Yeah, it's just skill.
So cool. And it's like, you have to think about how big these dragons are, and think about how big this cavern is, like in the side of the mountain, like humongous.
yeah, this show just looks awesome. Like, period. Like, I was so happy to be back in this world again too, because watching this new episode, because it's shot so well, it looks so great. Even like, you know, the aspects of it that are CGI and whatever else, it just looks, it looks
Yeah.
really fucking good. It's just a really, really good looking show. Like, and it's just like, it really stands out, honestly. Like, you know, and Game of Thrones, you know, for all as much as a fan base as it has, like, I don't think they ever had the budget or like the like, you know, like the technology that they do now in terms of graphics. You know, sadly, until like the last couple of seasons, because it it's, you know, and they really relied on like a lot of like set design type of stuff, obviously, on that show, right, to set the mood and stuff like that, and really a lot of, you know, good character moments, obviously, which this show has too, but it just looks fantastic. Like, that's, I think, what sets it apart from Game of Thrones. Is it's just like one of the best looking shows, I think, on, honestly, that I watch. I think it's, can't
Yeah,
say stress that enough.
Definitely. Definitely.
I mean, yeah, after watching this season, and we've seen the progression too. Like, I mean, I've literally just watched the whole progression from the beginning of the series, is, you know, right to the end, and you can see the progression, and just the, you know, I'm. It's just the CGI that's getting better. Really, at the end of the day, it's not anything else. The rest of the stuff they've done consistently. You know what I mean? So I'm not really surprised by that. But yeah, just the background effects and stuff like that that we didn't get to see so great of in probably the beginning, and you know, slowly coming up into the series, right? Was, you know, from part subpar a little bit compared to what we can see now, right? But honestly, I don't think it could get any better. Like, unless they have the dragons right in your face and, you know, coming out your TV screen or whatever. Yeah, then
Yeah, no, it looks great. And
yeah.
then
So
and then we get this scene introducing a new character in this next one with when Corlys speaks to the man who saved him, I guess, in the last battle, right? Did I miss something?
No, you
no,
definitely didn't. But this man, apparently, I don't know, it's in the book.
His name's
Somebody was
Alan.
talking about it.
Yeah,
It's apparently Corlys's bastard.
I did not hear
nice.
that.
They
They
all
don't
got some,
mention
man.
it. They don't mention it in the TV show, probably because there's no time to explain it, so they don't even bother. But in the book, or this backstory is, this guy is Corlys's bastard son, and his brother, who's also Corlys's bastard, is the one that brought him into the army or something. I don't know what. I remember he makes a comment about somebody like,
So yeah, so basically he says that because he has he pulls out a sword hilt that he commissioned for Lucerys in this scene, and that
Yes.
he had
Yeah.
forgotten about, and this guy's delivering it to him. Alan is his name, this guy that he meets, and apparently during that last battle with pirates, where we thought he was dead last season, and he kind of came back in the last episode there. He pulled him out, I guess, under like from the water, or I guess like after he almost got killed, and saved him, right? And that's kind of what he's doing and thanking him in this scene. But is he aware then, if you had heard this, that this is his bastard son though, or is Alan aware that he's his father?
It makes sense.
apparently
she said.
yes. Like, apparently yes, like in the books or in the whatever. But like, again, I don't think they have enough time to get into that, so they're not going to. It's just going to add confusion. I was pointing it out as like a little tidbit, because I'm like, who is this guy? He seems like he's going to be important at some point,
Right.
because
Yeah.
they're making a point to really focus on
Emphasize.
him,
Yeah.
the relationship with Corlys. So I don't know what they're going to do with that information, but apparently that's who
Interesting,
he is.
because he obviously
You know
is
what?
like,
Makes sense.
yeah, he obviously doesn't like know him, because like he even said he doesn't even know his name. Like, he has to like I think he ask him his name, or he just knows it at the end when he mentions it, because or did he ask him his
Ooh,
name?
He
that's
just
a
walked
good
to
question. I
him.
don't
He
remember.
walked right to him.
But he said,
He
"I heard
walked
you're
right
the."
to him, bro.
I don't know. We acted was just like, "Oh, I heard you're the one that saved me." I mean, he could just be saying that, being a
To
like
get
it's
in to get in
he's
there
in
to
a
talk.
strange. Yeah, maybe like if he's obviously not close, if it's his bastard son, it's not like he's with him, right? Maybe he's just like,
But it makes sense to owe him his life. I mean, owe him whatever, right? And it kind of helps out if he is his bastard son, because you know, he's kind of got a reason to now do it. And the way that he turned away when he said, "I owe you everything," I owe you my. What does he say? I owe you my.
he owes him a favor. Like, yeah, he owes him.
Basically, I owe you. Yeah, I owe
yeah.
you my life, basically,
Yeah.
right? and
He's indebted to him. He says. He says he's
to it.
indebted to you. Yeah.
So well, by saying that, and the way he just turned, he didn't even say anything like thanks or anything. He just turned his away and walked, right, and just said he was going to go talk to his brother.
Well, he was kind of just. He was kind of like, I just did my job,
know.
like my duty, right? Like he's like, you were there, you're in need of help, so I saved you. But he's kind of like, no, that's a big deal. Like you don't understand, right? And then he was reminded of Lucerys's death. And if you remember, Lucerys, when he got that thing commissioned, I wrote it here. He commissioned that before his death. And he was named, if you recall, he was actually named the heir of Driftmark last season. And that's when they cut Corlys's brother's head in half, if you recall, because he actually rejected the fact that that was their blood. And as a result of her, Rhaenyra, that's not the, child of her and their son.
Laenor,
right? Laenor, yeah. So they cut his head in half, and I had forgotten about that detail. That's something I did have to look up when I was looking at the recap, because I forgot that he was the heir to Driftmark in that moment, and that his brother is the one who pushed back on it. So if you're saying the brother is involved in this whole thing too, it makes sense actually in that sense, right? Like you're saying the brother was involved with the bastard son somehow too. You're saying like,
well, he said I have to go ask my brother. No, I have to go ask my
no,
brother if he can
Alan.
He can set up.
Yeah.
Alan has a brother that is alive and works in the army or works on the ship or something.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Corlys's brother. Sorry.
No, Alan's brother.
Okay.
Yeah.
But okay, like one also small little detail, them scraping the barnacles off the bottom of the boat, like awesome. Had my picker, fantasy just like in overdrive.
Very pleasing, right? Like it would be pleasing to kind of get that off, right?
If I could have that job, I want that
what
job.
Is this?
So are you one of those women that likes popping pimples and shit like that? See, there's a lot of people that
scabs. Don't come in with the scabs because I will literally scabs are my thing. Oh, I love scabs.
That's a thing, right? That's a thing. That's why I'm asking if you're one of those people. So
it's really bad. Oscar. So my son Oscar, he has a little bit of cradle cap, not a lot, just a teensy tiny little bit, and not enough to whatever do anything. If anything, I should just leave it alone. That's right. Leave it alone. And I'm sitting there every once in a while. I'm like, my mom, Lewis, everybody gets so mad. Leave it alone. And I'm just like, I made it. I scratch it.
I must scratch.
Yeah, have M&M wraps when he's older.
I kind of get it, though. I get what she's saying about how satisfying it looked like when they were taking that shit off the boat. It did seem very kind of pleasing. Yeah.
I just thought the graphics were cool.
Has no bearing on the story whatsoever. It was the smallest little detail, but I was like, damn, I want that job.
Well, we know if you were ever in this world, what job you'd be getting. The person that's scraping the barnacles off the boat.
If I ever have a pimple, I'm coming.
Have a huge smile on her face. I love it. That's good.
I can picture it too.
So yeah, that scene was interesting. We definitely know that he's going to be a big character, and then we get a small scene directly after this, and we actually learn more about this guy later on. But you get a little scene with them setting up the crossbows directly after this, and the blacksmith. Sorry,
I think they're called Scorpion, right?
Yeah, Scorpion. Yeah, they are. That's right. Yeah. But yeah, because those are the big bolts that they were shooting at the dragons in the in Game of Thrones, right?
Yeah.
So, yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were setting those up, and the blacksmith, which I guess this is when they created them, because if you think about it, they've never actually had to fight dragons because they have all the dragons. But now that the dragons are split amongst the family, they have to come up with a way to kind of combat the dragons now. So they themselves are making these weapons to fight the dragons, right, in King's Landing. So then you kind of get introduced somewhat. You kind of just see the blacksmith. They're kind of screwing around with the scorpions, and it's not really working out so well for them. And you get to see him talk about it later on when he goes to see King Aegon, right, and another scene. So I think that guy's also going to be a big character this season, or somebody important, I think, to because the way they set him up was just like, okay, this isn't just some no-name blacksmith guy, right? I think he's going to be important, because even Aegon, when he's trying to please everybody. He's like, oh, you are important to our war efforts or whatever. I'll get you whatever you want, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
No, he's just a pleaser, bro. He likes to please everybody from himself to, you know, the rest of the world.
I love that scene. I thought that was a great scene, actually, when he was talking to all the common folk there. I actually really enjoyed that one, which you can get to there. But what else here? We got
Aegon coming to look for the baby.
yeah. So then you kind of check in with King Aegon and his sister / wife, and she's only
So
concerned.
disgusting.
She's only concerned about the rats and not like anything else. She kind of just stares off into space. She's like, oh, she's. Is
this a lot of it to throw him off from what's happening in the next scene? Like, is why she says, you know, the rats, and you know, she's kind of being very weird about it.
No, she's.
I think, like, no, I don't think she's simple. If you know, like, a lot of Targaryens have these dreams, they have these premonitions, they have these whatever. I think, like, for her, it comes when she's awake. It doesn't come when she's asleep, like Aegon's dream or the first Targaryen that moved them from Valyria to West. Like, I think she's just one of those that sees prophecies and she doesn't know how to say them. She just says, like, bleh, you know.
Yeah, that's interesting. So that actually makes a lot of sense, because then obviously she talks about the rats and look who killed her kid at the end, the rat catcher, right?
And in season 1, she's like, I feel the beast beneath the boards, and then Rhaenys busts through the boards like at the coronation with her dragon, and like almost kills them all.
So I fall in for it hook, line, and sinker, where everybody else is like, the way they're portraying her is that she's an idiot. Meanwhile, she actually is just weird because people don't understand what she's got going on with her. Eh? Okay, that's cool. I never actually realized that. I thought she was just a little off, to be honest with you, like, because the way she, like, you know, just stares in his face, and even like Aegon's like, yes, she's interesting. He says something along the lines of that. She's like, yeah,
he does.
Yeah.
No, I think because she's meek and she's quiet compared to her two brothers. Like, I think people just overlook her. But at the same time, it's like she's really, if you pay attention to what she's saying some real shit. Like,
yeah, that's a good point.
The white-haired women are pretty smart in this show. I don't know.
Yeah, I think you're right. I just keep thinking that she's dumb. But you're right. She did.
Join the club. But no, I kind of, at the end, I was like, she must have had a premonition of some sort. You know?
Oh, you caught on to that too? See, that went right over my head. I did think it was weird, the thing she said about the rats, and then that happened. That is true, but I thought it was just one of those things where I'm like, well, maybe this is just her being not concerned about the real things that are happening in the moment, right? I thought she was just infatuated, with the rats. But yeah, you're right. I guess that's why. Look at you guys. Yeah, that's good. I never realized that. I never caught on to that. Went over my head. Okay.
Hey.
That's why we have these recap shows.
Oh yeah, of course. Can't have all the answers, man. I'm just just doing my part here. I don't know if I can know. That's what I mean. That's why I like to hear different perspectives on this. This is fun.
Oh yeah, for sure.
What else?
He goes to look for the babies, though, and then he goes to look for the babies and throws.
Oh yeah, then he brings Jaehaerys into the small council, which was freaking hilarious.
He's playing with all the balls on the table. We were skipping over Alicent getting eaten out by Kristen Cole now.
We totally forgot about this. Okay,
Kristen Cole is going down on Alicent, which I absolutely called. At least she waited
definitely did.
At least she waited for her husband to be dead. Like she actually was.
I guess
loyal.
Eating Viserys.
She waited right up to. She was loyal right to the end, and then as soon as he was in the ground, she's like, "Okay, let's get it on." Me and Kristen Cole, as I suspected was going to happen. So yeah, they're getting it on this episode.
Well, his tongue was first.
Yes, that's right.
Super ironic is that she literally like chewed Rhaenyra out for like this relationship with Kristen, and then she goes and does essentially the same thing.
Yes,
you know,
like Kristen Cole, right? In the beginning,
I don't think so. He's such a little ween. I don't know. Now I'm just like, you were just a little ween.
Kind of pompous, like, and he's obviously butthurt about Rhaenyra still. So
like, I feel like it's been like 30 years. Get over it.
I think that's what's motivating him, even to sleep with. I mean, he has a lot of respect for Alicent. She did save his life when he wanted to kill himself that first time around and all that. But I think that
let him.
Yeah, he is a bit of a weed. He is weedish.
He is.
Yeah.
My favorite word. What a ween.
This is one of those guys that's going to continue to probably get the one up on people. You know that as a result, right? Of him being such a weenish character on this show, he's going to be one of these guys. I feel like that's going to like have smooth sailing. I think maybe I'm wrong.
Son, eating your mom out. I know what it's like, bro.
You know what it's like?
Before.
I don't, Jay.
He said he's chilling with the son.
Moving on.
Eating the mom out. Yes.
Oh, okay. I get it. Okay. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
But then we get to the small council meeting, and then there's like a whole fun, like you said, like he's playing with all those balls on the table that they have to put in.
The child is playing with the stones in the table, not the balls.
Yeah, the balls. Child's playing with the balls. No, but the one that there's actually one thing I missed to point out to you guys. Did you catch where in the earlier scene when he's trying to find his son, what's his name again? This kid, the one that
Jaehaerys,
that gets killed at the end. Yeah, Jaehaerys, R.I.P. Jaehaerys. He's looking for him in that scene, and he says to his wife there, Helena. He's like, "Oh yeah, he's gonna be king one day." Like that didn't last long. Right? Like he literally said that in that.
We don't know. We didn't see a cock, bro, at the end. So relax.
No, that was her side. She says it at that end.
No, she said it. Like
she could be lying.
To
throw everything off. She might be playing the game too,
bro.
There's a lot of people playing the game in this fucking part.
The name of the episode is a fucking son for a son, man. you gotta pay attention to these names of the episode. That's what I don't like about this too. It's so literal sometimes.
But maybe they're doing it on purpose this time to throw us off. Come on, let's just keep our fingers crossed. Maybe everybody's playing the game.
Either way, it's like terrible.
A lot of people playing their own different games.
No, she was traumatized at the end. She said that was the last.
Regardless, it was one of their kids.
They killed the boy.
Yeah, that's the last word she uttered. Yeah, they killed the boy. That's literally all that came out of her mouth.
You guys said too. If you don't see them die, I didn't see anybody die, man.
You heard him die though. You want me to get to the sound? I have it all queued up here. I was gonna wait for the scene.
Oh man.
Okay, I'll wait to the scene. Anyways,
and scene.
Yeah, and then
nightmares.
The small council meeting part was fun though. You kind of get to learn about all the people that they have working for them now, like the Lannisters, and they talk about the Baratheons and obviously Otto Hightower's people. And was it Old Town? The Hightowers, right? I think it's Old Town, Small Town. What is it? I think it's Old Town, right?
No, Old Town is where the Tullys are.
Oh, who's the Hightowers place then? They also have their help.
They're in Highgarden.
Okay. So yeah,
because a master Lord Tully is the one who's still on the fence, and Aegon says in that council meeting, he's like, "Well, tell like Fat Tully that like he needs to like whatever, or else I'm going to send the dragon to like burn him alive." Or I don't know. He says something like that. He makes reference to like Fat Tully.
Right. Yeah, I wrote here forces for the war at the meeting. Baratheons in the Stormlands, Lannisters at Casterly Rock, of course. And I put down Otto Hightower's family in Old Town. Maybe I wrote down the wrong spot then. Okay, I don't know. I thought that's where it was, but maybe, like you said, maybe it was the Tullys. And then you get this fucking creepy ass scene with Alicent and Larys as she's going back to her room. What a fucking creep, man. This guy says he's killed like several people or some shit like that were untrustworthy in her circle. This guy's just going around killing people now because he thinks he's helping her. This guy's messed up, man. Larys. Who's bigger creep, Littlefinger or Larys?
I don't know yet, man.
Same. I think Larys. Honestly,
100,000%.
I agree.
Maybe to start off. I don't know. He just finished last movie. He just finished last episode jerking off to her feet. And now he's giving her a whole new like spa and bath people, man. Like I don't understand that. Like I don't get it. It is kind of creepy. Like he knows she's getting banged.
He thinks that he's doing the right thing for her because he's like, doing nice things for her or doing things that he thinks are going to win her favor. I think he's in love with her. And he's hoping that, now that Viserys is dead, that he can maybe make a move on in because now he's a lord and whatever, she's a dowager queen, whatever. But Yeah, and because the way he even said, like, "Oh, your handmaiden said you were indisposed," like he knows that she's like fooling around with like Kristen,
But not
but
only
he's not happy about it.
yeah, but not only that, like I think now that she's giving him some sort of power, like he given this free reign to like go about and do these things, like he's unhinged.
She's
This guy, like you know what I mean? Like
she's
he's
obviously mistaken. Like you see it in her face. Like, I
right.
made a mistake.
She's like,
Like
what do
with
you
this
mean?
one.
Like, stop fucking killing people. Like, what is wrong with you? Like, he's like, oh yeah, there were several people I found untrustworthy. I took care of them though. I was just, he's like looking at him like, okay, I gotta go. Like, you know,
Yeah.
see you later.
Well, that's why she dismisses her whole like bath team, because it's like, what are you putting in my bath? Like, no, get out of here. I'll scrub myself.
Also, like later on, he makes a play for the hand of the king. He's trying to get in Aegon's head now, making it seem like, I mean, it's jumping ahead, but whatever. Like there's a whole scene where he makes a play for getting in his head by saying like, oh, you want to differ from your father and the way he did things. He let Otto kind of lead him around. Are you gonna also follow Otto? Don't you want to do things differently now that you're king? He's like, I don't think you should kind of have him as your hand. You know, he's basically getting in his head and making them think, oh, maybe I'll use this guy as my hand, right? Which is, that's not going to be good if he gets in that position, which I think this is where we're seeing things go right now, right? I think he will be. Honestly, this I don't. Maybe you know, Christina.
I don't know. No, I don't.
Yeah,
he's totally ignorant to all of those spoilers.
That's what I mean, there's a lot of different pieces moving right now.
It's like Game of Thrones.
They're all trying to
again.
set up, man. No, it's like, yeah, it's like everybody's trying to set themselves up for success somewhere. Doesn't matter who it's with.
I like
trying to pick their sides.
I like it too, though, because we talked about how like focused the first season was only on obviously. I mean, the fucking show is House of the Dragon, the Targaryen stuff, but I don't think they did a great job of fucking touching on all the characters, like following up and kind of seeing where we're at with everybody at certain points of the first season. We talked about it. The pacing at times I felt like wasn't great of the first season, but they had to follow the storyline to get to where we're at now. Like, you know what I mean? Like there were so many things that had to happen. But now that the world is expanding and we're seeing other families now like come to their aid, and we're seeing all these other side characters that he even introduced in this first episode and that they've been following up on, the future is bright. Honestly, this is looking like it's going to be a good fucking season. I know we're only going to get 8 episodes, but honestly, really like they didn't skip a beat in this episode from that last one to this. Like I'm really excited. I'm really hyped up now about what's going to happen. Honestly, like based off of it.
Same.
Yeah.
I think Matt Smith confirmed that they're filming season 3 later this year.
Yeah.
So hopefully, like maybe we'll have like a late summer release date for season 3.
Right. Yeah. Hopefully, because it'd be nice if we didn't have to wait like a whole 2 years again. Hopefully, right? Yeah. That's
Hi, Prima.
What's that?
I know Naomi.
That's hey, there you go. What's going on?
Yeah. Like, thanks for
tuning in.
I see blocks. That's all I see.
She's giving up the she's throwing the rock up. No, it's like I think it's a heart, one of those heart ones. Okay.
I don't see that. I guess if you had a different, I don't know. My computer doesn't have that shit on it.
But yeah, thanks.
I don't see it.
Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks.
But what else we got here?
Where are we?
Rhaenyra, then you see in this next scene that she's still searching for proof of her son's death. Like I guess before she actually moves forward with like I guess this war, she wants to confirm the fact that these people are indeed like that her son is indeed dead. And
yes,
and this is where she finds on the beach, like there's a bunch of people on the beach. They find a dragon wing as well as Lucerys's clothes, and she basically just freaks out.
Oh, okay, because I was like, how the fuck did she spot him out of everywhere? Like, I mean, but I guess I didn't see the dragon wing.
But they brought it in from the water, like it was like a fishing ring.
I seen like a net, yeah.
Yeah, net, yeah. That's
yeah,
right.
And then this one guy is like, "It's a dragon wing," and I was like, "Wow, he needs a loudspeaker." But you know, like
yeah. I didn't hear that thing yet, but I didn't hear that. He's got it's a dragon wing. I thought they were talking about her.
No.
Like she was landing and whatever.
So I guess she wanted to make sure, obviously, that he was indeed dead if they were going to move forward with all this. And you know what I mean? And obviously for the hope of her son being alive still. But yeah, that was, she found here, like with his clothes and the dragon wing. It's pretty, yeah.
Pretty obvious.
Yeah, she got the confirmation that she wanted
So
there.
I just have
she
a
just didn't want to know from Ravens. Like she needed to know for herself, right?
I've had
Just
a
like any
quick
person.
note about this because I've been seeing online a lot of people making reference to the way Rhaenyra looks versus what Daenerys looked like at the end of Game of Thrones when they're about to go mad. Like you can see that like they're about to turn and they're either going to go like psychotic mad or they're just going to go like regular angry
Normal
mad.
Okay, well,
You
I
know,
don't know
like,
what the, okay,
and
yeah.
it, you know, they're like, oh, I've seen this look before. Like I've seen this look. Well, Rhaenyra's, and they're championing. I can't think of the word.
Yeah, I
Yes,
know what you mean, yeah.
championing. Rhaenyra as like, oh, she's gonna go crazy. It's gonna be amazing. Yet, but the same people were running Daenerys through the mud for going crazy. Like, oh no, it wasn't acceptable for her to go crazy.
Right.
But it's acceptable for Rhaenyra. And it's like, okay, maybe it wasn't her son that Daenerys lost, but she lost a whole shit more. That's why at the end of season 8, my opinion is it was justified. It was justified. I saw it. I see the light. I see why they made Daenerys go crazy in the way that she did. You know, but of course, I think it's easy. Of course, like anyone, I mean, I don't even think you have to be a parent to understand what Rhaenyra is going through. It's like, you know, lose anybody that you love, and it's like you would go just as mental.
I agree, but I think the only difference with her in Game of Thrones was it was much more of a mess in who should have right to the throne. Honestly, like it wasn't so clear cut as this is. This is like directly, he said, you're supposed to take over for me when I died. So this literally got snatched from her. Like this, I feel like she's even more justified in the actions of things, how they played out. In this, I get what you're saying, but at the same time, it was such a messier situation on Game of Thrones to really, you know what I mean? Like she had a lot of opportunity and things that led up to that moment where if things went differently, they didn't have to get to that moment. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
I think this is like, you know what I mean? Like they came for her throat, like right away, like right as soon as her father died, they took the throne and they killed her child. Like, you know what I mean? Like this is, I feel like, you know what?
And she was so upset about all of this that she miscarried.
Yeah.
Her other child, we keep forgetting that she literally had a miscarriage, like just shortly before all of this as well.
But that's the thing. I think with
that could have happened anyway. But I mean,
yeah, of course, that could have happened. But it's like the stress of it all put her into labor,
right?
Of the usurpation, put her into labor. She loses that baby. She was probably going to lose it anyways because it was deformed and all of that. Fine, fair enough. Whatever, it is what it is. It happened at that time. Mm-hmm. Right. But then it's like right from the usurpation right to the loss of her another child. Like that is, yes. Okay. I get it. Maybe I get it. But it's just interesting how the internet just flip flops. That's why you don't trust anything on the internet.
That's why I don't watch anything on there until
we are on the internet right now, guys.
I know. But the fucking, like she sends me this fucking picture with the eye patch and fucking.
Oh, that was great.
Oh, that was
Zoolander, Blue Steel, fucking, yeah.
Aemon Targaryen.
I'm like, I wrote right away, right back there.
Every scene.
See it yet.
Oh no, I wasn't going to spoil anything. Please, I know better. Hello, yeah. I know better.
I know, but I just didn't know. I didn't know what the fuck was going on. Yeah, I didn't know.
Yeah, the Zoolander, Blue Steel, Le Tigre, or whatever the hell you call it, Blue Steel. Yeah, with the Zoolander. Because it's true, every time he's like sitting around brooding, he's got like that brooding ass face on. He looks awesome though, too, right? I mean,
yeah.
I mean, he looks better than Zoolander. Come on.
They cast that guy perfectly because even him as an actor, he has the like frosty blonde hair, and he exudes that energy even as himself. Like it's interesting how they casted that person.
Yeah, no, he is really good in that.
Also, okay, I know. Side note, when we're talking about the actors versus the characters, Emma Darcy. Yo, she can get it. I'm not a lesbian or bisexual.
Which one is Emma Darcy?
Rhaenyra. Her masculine, feminine, like transitioning. Yo, she was on the red carpet in like an oversized suit, like it was like a two-tone suit. She had like this hair with like the wisp. I'm like, damn, girl can get it.
I didn't see that. I'm gonna have to look that up because
I'm gonna look it up and I'm gonna send it to you right now.
If I had to pick between them, I would have said Allison, honestly. But
I'll take the
yeah, of
ginger.
course, she's
Yeah, I'll take the
beautiful.
ginger,
She's
bro.
beautiful.
Give
But
me
no,
the
there's
ginger.
something about like Emma Darcy, the way that she can, like, I think sorry, I keep saying they, 'cause
right,
they identify as non-binary.
it's fine. I mean, we talk about her as a she in the show, though,
In the show.
context of the show. Yeah, so
Right,
yeah,
but
yeah,
the
yeah.
Oh, I didn't even know.
The
Yes,
person,
they just announced it recently. It's like Matt Smith, I think, apparently was the one. I read that article is the one that said it. But yes.
yeah, the person or the actor,
Right.
Emma Darcy,
Right.
can get it.
Right.
They're beautiful.
Well, there you have it, guys. Headline of the episode: Emma Darcy can get
They
it.
can get it. I gotta find it.
I'm gonna have to look that up. Yeah, send that to me.
As soon as I find it, I'm gonna send, because I think I sent it to like 4 of my girlfriends. I'm like,
No
I would.
way.
Oh, there you go. Well,
Oh,
you
you
know,
got 2 girlfriends left.
with Emma there, it's a possibility too. So, but yeah, no.
Oh my god.
I
I
haven't
like
talked to Lewis
Allison.
about hall passes yet, but I think like they are on my list.
Yeah, I like Allison
Lewis.
personally.
I think you'll be okay with that.
But and then after that is one of my favorite scenes of the episode. But yeah, send that to me. Is
When Aegon says he has bigger dragons.
yeah, it's when Aegon sits down and he listens to the common folk and they come through with all their problems. You know what? This guy actually is trying to do a good job for the people in this scene. Like
He's not no Jeffrey.
Well, Joffrey.
Jeffrey. I forgot his name now. Right?
Don't fucking besmirch everybody named Jeffrey like that. How dare you?
Well, I mean, I know only
Okay.
2 Jeffreys, and the other one isn't so great myself. Or if he's even around, he's dead now, so it's all good.
Isn't that the thing? And take him to the Greek, get him to the Greek. Isn't it Jeffrey? Oh yeah, like your neighbor Jeffrey.
Hey, you want to smoke a Jeffrey?
Send me the picture.
Hold on. No, it's a video.
Oh, let's see it. Nah, I don't see it.
Oh my god, no! Like,
Does it
oh,
have gold teeth?
look at that smolder.
Does it have gold teeth?
That's an interesting suit, though. I'll say that.
That's a Johnny Depp look, man. What's going on over there?
Oh my god! Like,
You're into that? Yeah, you like that? The slick back look? I don't know.
There's something about she's
No, that's
It
that's
looks like
fine.
the Rat
just
Pack or the
so
whatever.
cool.
Rat Pack.
Right.
I just like I saw this and I was like, oh my god!
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, if it does it for you, like I don't know.
I don't know. It doesn't for me anymore, guys. I haven't been integrated into society in so long. I don't know.
But yeah, no.
She's staring at the internet of pictures of whatever. Sorry. She's going
Moving on.
crazy. Lewis, let her out of the house.
Moving on. Listen, you're always welcome on this show.
I'm gonna
Doesn't matter
save
if your
it.
name is Christine, Chris, Christina, whatever. We don't care.
My name.
We got all 3. Don't worry.
Can I? So, I actually like that he gave a shit here in this moment. Although he obviously doesn't know that he can just give everybody what they want, right? Like they like.
This is
I
why I
guess-
put my name as him.
right. You're a man of the people, Jay. Everyone knows that.
I am.
Just
You
like
know
you
that,
know.
bro. Come on, dude.
That's why you're the face
am
of
a
Late Night Chat Network. You're the face. That
I'm scared to
beautiful
wear
face.
the shirt now slowly outside, bro.
No, but like, listen, like they come up and they say that, like one guy is like, listen, you took some of my livestock, my sheep. I need them for the winter upcoming, and he's like, oh, okay, yeah, sure, why not? We'll give you back your sheep, sure, well, like, perfect. And then like Otto is like, actually, we already told them that we're taking some of their livestock because we need food for the dragons for the upcoming war. He's like, oh, okay, yeah, sorry, never mind. Like, I guess we can't do that. But like everybody that comes up, he's like, don't worry about that. I got that taken care of. Next, like, you know what I mean? Like, I like how he's addressing everybody and just trying to give them what they want. Like, he's clearly like a people pleaser, but he doesn't understand.
Yeah,
Like
don't
Otto,
be nervous.
but Otto's
Just
getting,
telling them.
yeah, Otto's getting infuriated because like he's like, we've already dealt with this, and you're actually causing more of an issue. Because he makes a very good point about if you give it to him, everybody's going to come and ask for their livestock back. You can't just do that, right? Like without like advising, like checking with me first, right? Like I'm your advisor, right? So, but I do like that he actually gave a shit and like is making an effort in this moment. He is taking it seriously. For someone that did not want to be king, he actually is making some moves in this episode. I don't know, in my opinion. I thought I did like this moment, honestly.
I think he likes the attention. It's like you could see
Sure.
it. Like he wasn't sure about being king until he was at the coronation and everybody was cheering for him. And you could see the change in his face. And when he started lifting up like the sword and everything, you know, like his tune changed and now he's the king. And even the way he walks into the small council, he's only been king for like, I don't know, 12 days.
Right.
And like he acts like he's running the joint. And he said like, oh, like let Jaehaerys be part of this. It's not whatever. Let Aemond join. He's not part of the small council. Who cares? Yes, let me give you back all your sheep, goat. Let me give you back all your, you know, your steel and give you all the gold and all, like, because he likes the attention that he's getting. And he thinks that like, yeah, like you said, being a people pleaser is going to continue keeping the people in his favor. But
not necessarily, yeah.
I think there's a bigger plot here. Again, I heard something that like the small folk are going to play a bigger part in this war.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And they show it in the trailer and whatever, but I think this people pleasing or
backfire.
It's going to backfire with the small folk with this war and everything. So I think we're going to see a lot of it.
You can't just throw money at the situation. I get that. And that's clearly what he's trying to do here. He's like, yeah, you want that? Sure. Like the blacksmith comes and he's just like, yes, whatever you want. You're very important to like the war efforts and all that. And that is kind of what you want to hear. And that is kind of what you would want if you were one of these people. But at the same time, it's just like, there's so many other things you got to take into account as a king. And he clearly doesn't have the experience or the knowledge to really know that at this point, right? So I get it, but he is just trying to give everybody what they want, right? So I feel like he's trying to take it seriously, but like I think you're right. It's more about it's like a chauvinistic kind of way. I think you're right, Christina, about how he just wants to like show off and be like, yeah, look at me. Because even when there's that scene towards the end when the rat catcher they sneak in, he's getting hammered. He's like, oh yeah, my brother, he does everything for me, he's so loyal or whatever. And then they start like making fun of him and all that, and he's like, you know what I mean? You could just tell that he's just, like, full of shit, right? Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's a good point.
Getting drunk with his buddies. I can see that being you, Neeks.
We didn't talk about it too much, but like his entry into that like throne room to like meet with the small folk and hear their whatever, and his buddy calls him magnanimous.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he looks over him and he's like, magnanimous. I actually looked it up because I'm prepared. And it means generous or forgiving, especially toward a rival or less powerful person.
There you go.
So,
no wonder
it's such a word. Even Aegon was just like magnanimous.
New word today.
CJ, you could have put your name as Aegon the Magnanimous.
Magnanimous. I can't even spell that word. I can barely pronounce it, bro.
It's funny though. Of his name.
Yeah, but he's walking up. He like looks over at him. He's like magnanimous.
I'm gonna use that word next time I say to my dad. I'm gonna say, yeah, you can call me
John
word. Thomas the Magnanimous.
Yeah, it's a good name.
See if he clues in.
It's a good word. And then there's some quick scenes here. Aegon speaks with Larys.
Just noticed her name change. Sorry.
Makes a play for the hand to the king, as we talked about earlier already. Otto meets with Alicent. This is kind of important because she tells him to treat her with more respect by not undermining her in front of her sons because they look up to him. And I feel like Otto, his involvement in everything, it's kind of undermining her in her position a little bit, right? Sometimes, right? Especially at the council meeting, small council.
Typical
meeting.
Daddy.
Yeah. Which is nothing new, actually, coming from him. She's kind of already talked with him, I think, before in the last season about this kind of shit. Right? But what else? Daemon meets with Mysaria in this next scene, who, like Christina said at the start of the show here, we don't know why she's on that boat there. They don't really get into all that, but
sneaking info, bro.
Yeah, well, they do mention in this scene that she's been feeding info to Otto during this period of time. And yeah, and then he basically says like haul her away because like she's a traitor. And then you kind of see him. They kind of talk a little bit about the fact that there's a twin rivalry going on, as we know from the end of the last season as well. there's one of the twins that used to work for the Kingsguard now is in King's Landing, and one of them is with what's his name, Damon now, like
at Dragonstone.
Yeah, so he even says, like, what do you think's going to happen? Like, we're on opposing sides. Like, that's going to come to blows too. It's kind of interesting because, like,
we're going to have a Mountain Hound situation.
Exactly. I was just about to say that. You're already seeing some themes that are similar to Game of Thrones. You got the Littlefinger, Larys kind of thing. You got this situation going on, which is the brothers, right? The rivalry between brothers happening, right? Like, it is like a Hound Mountain situation.
Well, you got to kind of do this too, because I mean, it just shows sometimes that history can repeat itself if Game of Thrones was
absolutely
after instead of prior. Because I mean, also with you know, she says when she's talking to her dad, to Otto, that, you know, you got to let it once the glory of all of the being a king is gonna, you know, it's gonna disappear for Aegon, then they want to kind of, you know, get his brother Aemon ready for it, right? Because he's gonna be the one that has the balls to do anything about anything, right? Because I don't think, like I said, Aegon is that person. I don't even think he wants to go to war, or he wants to really fight. You know what I mean? He's just, I understand he has no choice right now.
He's just getting used to being king right now.
I just noticed that Christina changed her name to Emma
You just noticed that? I noticed that like a couple minutes ago, bro. She's just a dirty woman today.
Yeah. No, I hear you, Jay. No, you make a good point. Yeah, it's interesting stuff building here, but I definitely agree with the whole history repeating itself. Like, that's for sure. Like, and I think that's like, we saw that even on Game of Thrones in that sense, right? Like, even
it's like real life.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't learn. If we don't learn from the history.
Well, it's the whole thing. You're doomed to repeat
ourselves.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you got it. Then Rhaenyra says that she wants Aemon in this next, because she comes back and she's all distraught from her beach trip there, and she freaks out and basically says, like, she wants Damon's head, essentially, as a result of you know, the fact that it's confirmed now that he killed Lucerys. And that's when Daemon goes back and asks Mysaria to provide knowledge for contacts there for King's Landing for you know, killing a son for a son, as he kind of puts it, as he even put it earlier in the episode. His son for a son is his whole bending the knee. It seems like he says it like 3 times this episode. I feel like, right?
Really driving the point across.
Eye for an eye, you know, one of those type of situations, right? So, but the whole time he wants
cheese for cheese.
Yes, exactly.
You know, you can use it with anything. It's like,
yeah. The whole time though, they want the whole point, like, where they send somebody out there, is that they want to kill Aegon. Oh no, Aemon though, not who they end up killing.
So when he's talking to Blood and Cheese, like in whatever, and Cheese asks him, what if we can't find Aemon? What if we can't find him? Daemon kind of looks at him, and then the scene cuts out. So we don't know what he says to him, but they obviously had direction to kill the boy, because Blood knew, like, where's the boy, you know?
Yep. Yeah.
So he knew.
Yeah.
But what stops you from, like, if I don't know, like, at that last, I don't get it. I know that part. I understand that part, but I'll get to that when we get to that. Are we not at that scene? We're still just talking. We jumped ahead.
You don't get what?
No. But I mean, like I said, I still in the beginning how I said, I don't know how if they're lying, or if she was lying or not at the end.
Oh, Jay, that child is gone. That child.
Okay, this is like his new tree thing now. He's like, oh, I don't believe it, guys. Bro, that kid is dead, man. What do you think?
Yeah,
those
but
noises
we don't know if it's a guy or a girl. We don't know, man.
All right, Jay, think of that.
They all look the same. They're blonde, and they're kids.
Then Jacaerys comes to speak to his mother about you know, the support that he's collected, and he ends up breaking down and crying over his brother's death, because this is the first time he's actually returned from hearing this news, right? That's is that a different actor or is he just way older? That kid.
He's older.
Yeah, no, I know
Yeah.
he's older, but I didn't know if there was like a different
checked the
actor
name.
now.
The hair is better.
Yeah, hair
The
is way better.
jawline is like slaying.
Now, do you still think that's
he grew
a
into
wig,
puberty.
or is that his actual
No.
hair?
That's his hair for
That's what I
sure.
thought. Yeah, no, it looks great.
Remember,
That's his hair.
remember when you had luscious hair like that, Neeks? I actually have a picture of that. So.
Never had luscious hair like that.
Yeah,
That's
did
very
you ever have
luscious.
long hair like that?
I've had long
he
hair,
had hair
but
like
not
down
like
his
that.
shoulders, man.
Yeah, I've had long hair, but yeah,
It was
not-
luscious. It was very,
No, he doesn't know what he's
I
talking
have a
about.
picture. I have a picture on my phone. Don't you worry.
Not that I've like.
I
Not,
don't think so. I don't think so. Then they kind of do like they basically have like a funeral of sorts for him and Alicent. We cut between them doing their funeral at Dragonstone and between that and Alicent lighting a candle for him. It seems like she lights a candle, I guess, in his honor. It seems like, or like
she lights one for her mother, one for Viserys, and then one for Luke.
Right. All the people that they lost, I guess. Yeah. So recently, so.
Yeah.
Or the mother, I guess not, but just people in general, I guess, that she's lost. Yeah. So, and then Daemon goes to King's Landing in secret and meets with the Kingsguard traitor and basically sets everything up in this next scene, which we find out is, like I said, that's Blood and who's a Kingsguard guy that hates on the High Towers. He's kind of like, fuck the High Towers. Like, he's like, oh, perfect. You'll do. And then something that they were recently dealing with in the Red Keep is all the rats running around. And they brought in Cheese, the rat catcher, to basically lead them through the tunnels because he says he knows the place inside out. And
better than his cock.
That's right. Better than the shape of my cock. Yeah, that's what he says. Yeah, he says he knows it better than the shape of his cock. And then they go off to kill a son for a son here in these final scenes. But there's a couple of smaller things that happen. I mean, Aegon meets with Kristen Cole there to talk some strategy. And then he kind of blames his mother.
Aemond.
No, not Aegon. Sorry. He meets with Kristen Cole to talk strategy, and then he basically blames his mother for having love for their enemy. Basically, the fact that she still likes Rhaenyra, like he's like she's part of the problem. Like, he kind of throws her under the bus in that scene.
Well, you know what happens?
Narcissist.
But kids go against what their parents all the time, man. I mean, think about it. You know, yeah, she does. They were friends and stuff like that. But right now, he knows he was only raised to be, you know, it's either this or this. You know, they're only taught one way from birth. These kids, man. Some of these guys to be heirs and stuff like that to the throne. You know what I mean? So how much he really is. His mother is really siding. Has, like he said, has love for the enemy.
Yeah.
But he's not wrong in a sense. Right, because he's told that they were the enemy, and that's what he's been, you know. Like, yeah, he did do. He's the one who. It was really him that fucked everything up. But I mean, I can only imagine how much he's had to hear that in the last little while, too. Right. I mean, we don't see the off-scene stuff that they could be talking.
Well,
about,
he's the one who, like, literally
has caused this war.
He's caused so much of it. Like,
so to talk shit about
years.
his mother, yeah. No,
I mean, I know, like, when he was little, like, so I think a lot of it stems from when he was little, the teasing. You know, he's now the, like, big bad guy who, like, has this power. Because he was the little one who got, like, teased. He was the one that didn't have a dragon, and they gave him the pig and the wings and all of that. So he's been teased from childhood, but he's carrying this grudge, like, for years. And I mean, yes, they did take his eye and all of that, but that was accidental. It wasn't on purpose, but he's always had this thing, like, you know, he won't let it go. Like, he says he's let it go, but he won't let it go.
I mean, if you want to talk about again, like, things because coming back around, we're basically seeing a brother relationship forming between Aemon and Aegon here, similar to Viserys and Daemon before our very eyes. I feel like in these episodes, because he is the one that he feels that he should possibly be in charge, but instead he's listening to his brother because that's the person that they trust more to be king or whatever. You know, I mean, we know how it all played out, but
yes, there's a very similar correlation between Aemon and Daemon, because he he wants to be Damon. Like he wants to, like, you know, he wants to fight him. He wants to be him. He wants to whatever. Like, yes, there's very similar attributes there.
Yes. Yeah, I just think it's interesting in that sense
family.
too, because they're also having like a similar, I feel like, relationship, those two that we just seen Viserys and Daemon experience, right, in that sense, right? So, but I guess we'll see how that plays out. But then, you know, Otto comes in, he basically calls him impulsive, says like, you know, your brother can't be, we all know that he can't be like that, don't you do that, and don't get ahead of yourself, and because he feels like he's gonna fuck up and do something, obviously, and he's sitting there strategizing with Kristen Cole and everything else, right? So like Otto tells him basically to take a step back, like don't do anything stupid, which we know he's obviously gonna do once again, because he's the one, like you said, that got that fucking Lucerys killed, right, already, because of his stupidness, right, because of his need.
And he's also said that they're the strongest. Him and Vhagar are the strongest in the realm, right? So,
right.
you know, they know that he's got the power. It's just he needs to control it, because he wants to go right away right now to start this war. You know, they're trying to get him and keep him under control, because they have a sneaky plan of getting. I feel like they have a sneaky plan of getting Aegon out of fucking, you know, out of Dodge or something like that. You know what I mean? To put thing on the fucking throne, which is, you know, you never know with this show. With this House of Dragons, they can always switch it different ways, right?
We'll see.
Right? So.
And then Blood and Cheese make their way into the castle. You see Aegon drinking with, like, you know, his people that work with them, a bunch of random people, and this is when he talks about his brother and how loyal he is. Cheese doesn't know how to get to the royals' bedrooms. He only knows how to like get through the tunnels, and he kind of like, when Blood is like questioning him about how they get up to the bedrooms now to kill him, he's like, I don't know how to get up there. I only know like my way around down here. Like, he gets really frustrated, and then that gets him frustrated, and then he fucking kicks a dog like a piece of garbage.
Oh yeah,
that was terrible.
Yeah,
This guy just boots the fucking dog.
I knew you were gonna say
dog.
that.
Well, the dog yelped. It was
is.
like one of these things where it's just like, you know, the dog like yelped out, and I'm just like, if you didn't hate this guy enough up to this point, it's like, you're not gonna win anybody.
I wonder how they got away with doing that. Like,
because they didn't show them kicking the dog.
Yes, they did.
No, they didn't.
Yes, you could see him make contact with the dog.
Maybe it's just like some trickery with the cameras, right? I don't know. You're right, because they could easily add in a yelp, but maybe they just, I don't know. Maybe it was a soft boot and they just made it look like a hard boot. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how they did it. There's lots of ways.
PETA not all over this. Like,
okay, you're gonna pick on the dogs and we're gonna pick on cut the baby's heads off. Okay, like, come on, guys. We're a review show here. We got our own opinions. You know?
And
we don't need to be.
They do get
dogs. Damn it.
Dogs.
They do get there though, and while they get to Helena's bedroom, and they confront her, and they get her to point out her son, and they can't tell the difference between, like you said, the way they look of who's the son and who's the daughter. She points the son out, and then rat guy there, Cheese, he looks her in the eye, and he's like, "No, she's telling the truth. Like, you can tell, like, yeah, she is." And go ahead, Jay, but hit us with your theory here.
How do you know? No, he's not on their sides, the rat catcher. You get what I'm saying? Like, bro, you cut off a head, you're not going to know if it's a boy or a girl at the end of the day.
What does it matter? Either way, they kill the child and cutting your head off.
Yes, they kill the child, but that child is important. That child could be an heir.
You're getting hung up on the wrong thing. She literally says at the end they killed the boy at the end of this fucking episode. Are you crazy?
They lie in this show, man. They don't care about us, bro. I told you. Remember?
You said it best, Nico. It's the tree all over again.
Oh my god, this guy gets hung up on the weirdest fucking thing.
It's the tree all over, and I was right about the tree in the end. It was still there.
Oh boy. Yeah. So they get her. They got her to point her out, point the son out, and they proceed to cut his head off, and that happens off screen. And I'll play the sound for you guys here because it's a pretty brutal sound.
Cue that sound.
You're really gonna do this?
Yeah, just to plug your headphones off.
Just plug your ears. Just take your headphones off.
She's telling true.
Can you hear?
I don't hear any screaming though. Sounds like a girl to me. Turn me up in the headphones, DJ.
It goes on way too fucking long. Like he's sawing that head off screen. I'm sorry, Christina. But it goes on way longer than I even remember right now. Like, oh, it's still not done? I'm like, Jesus.
So I was gonna say before, what are you like zooming in on me for?
You had something to say. You're like, I was gonna say.
I had something to say for an hour and a half.
Full screen when you're getting queasy. You're listening to that. You're like, ah. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say before the internet so rudely kicked me out. You remember how I said in season 1 when we were recapping that they literally built the Red Keep, the set of the Red Keep, like the whole thing is all continuous, wholesome, whatever. In this scene was the first time we could see Helena go from her quarters down the hall, down the stairs, through another quarter, whatever, and it's all continuous. Like, so this is like one of those scenes where they were able to really like show you like the continuity of the set. Like, you know?
Yeah, that's actually a good point. I didn't realize that, but you're right, because she does go a whole other direction in the castle before she doubles back and makes her way to Alicent's room, where she walks in and she's riding Kristen Cole. You see her from the back, and then she's like one of those like, oh, what are you doing here? Then she jumps off Kristen Cole.
It's just so interesting that like nobody locks the door.
No.
Like nobody, you know, like it's all just a free for all. Like, yeah, just come on in.
But of course, she's so traumatized by what has occurred. She just curls up in the corner and she's just like, you know, just fresh off
the boy.
Cole. She's like, what's wrong? What's going on? And yeah, you're right.
Kristen doesn't even try to hide. He's just sitting on the edge of the bed like this. Like,
so this is his fault. If he was standing guard, this may not have happened. You know that, right? Like him hooking up with her is a direct result to this death. Did you think of it that way? Because think of it, like he's supposed
because he's sworn to protect Alicent, so he's going to stand outside of her door, and her door was off of the stairs. And who knows?
He wasn't outside her door; he was inside on top of her,
underneath her.
Whatever.
But no. But I'm just saying, even if he wasn't, he was standing outside of her door where he's supposed to be. He wouldn't have seen these people go through. And they had a great ploy. It was like, you know, they're rat catcher. Like he's going to catch some rats, set some traps.
Yeah.
Like that's the perfect like
alibi. No, I know. I agree there. I agree with that. But at the same time, it's like, I think it would have still benefited him if he was outside the door where he should be.
Of course. Especially when because then he would have seen Helena scurry down the stairs, heard the screaming. Like, yeah, he might have he might have been able to catch them. Who knows if they catch them? Who knows like what happens next?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask. Do you think they're gonna make it out of the castle now? I mean, obviously
maybe, this guy knows the tunnels really well. So
they obviously got what they came for. The head is probably completely off. They're gonna take that head with them, but are they gonna actually make it out of the castle is the question. That's the question I want to know.
Well, I was wondering too also, like, I mean, it's I don't know, I'm worried, like I'm wondering about the queen there, like the one that was begging Cole there, the redhead.
Alicent.
Alicent. I'm worried, like I wonder about her when her and her dad are talking, because they're pretty schemy, very very schemy. So I don't know what the fuck their plan is. Maybe they even knew the rat catch. I don't know, bro. Like I'm having this whole thing in my head.
Jay.
They're fucking. There's a game going on here.
I never have ordered the beheading of her grandson. Like, there's no way she would have ordered the beheading of her grandson.
Yeah, but Otto would have said something. He's got balls. He doesn't give a fuck.
No, when his son,
right for the realm.
When his daughters, like when his grandson has an heir who is just gonna further their line, there's no way he would have ordered that.
I love hearing JT's train of thought as he spirals out over this. It's fantastic. He's convinced everybody is a traitor. He's convinced things that never happened.
I don't trust this world, man.
No, JT.
It's not real.
What if they bury the body under the tree, and then the tree becomes the Godswood tree that has the raven?
How do you know that didn't happen?
How do you know?
How do you know that didn't happen?
It might happen.
we haven't finished watching the series. Like, there's a couple more seasons probably. So
how do you know?
Exactly. We haven't seen the tree in the north yet.
Guys,
it'll be there in the north.
If you want to hear
more, been in the Red Keep the whole time.
you want to hear more of JT's crackpot theories on the tree, the Godswind tree, and Game of Thrones, make sure to tune into our previous episodes on Game of Thrones, especially the last season. That's where he really goes off the rails on this whole tree and the importance of the tree.
It was important, bro. You can't say it wasn't. It was there.
There's some shit that went down by the tree for sure. Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's been there for all this time.
Don't trust the tree that bleeds and doesn't die, bro.
So yeah, if you guys want to hear that, make sure to tune into those episodes. We got a whole load of them. So yeah, that's this episode. What a shocking fucking end to this episode. It was brutal, and that cutting went on. That hacking of the head, it went off way longer. What?
I really didn't think about that scene as much. Like, I mean, it was shocking, but I didn't think about it as much as I'm gonna have nightmares about it now. Moving forward, because all you guys keep talking about is the hacking and the sawing. I'm never going to watch this episode again.
It was such a visceral reaction that I had to it because of like the fact that I didn't even know it went on that long. Yeah, we'll move on. I'm just saying.
Okay, when they were cutting a fucking woman's belly open and you were hearing her screaming in pain and blood was fucking
that's natural, out. Jay.
Oh, come on.
I mean, it is. Something that
woman's health, like whatever.
I don't
it
know.
happened to me,
bro. Okay, natural in your world only. Maybe I'm natural. I'm an optimistic person.
Yeah. Are you? I don't know. So here we go. Let's do a power ranking to end out the episode, okay? In terms of gross things on this show. All right, in House of the Dragon.
House of the Dragon specific. Okay.
Yes. Okay.
Because we also say that she's smart. Okay, we also said that in the beginning that what's her name is smart when she was watching the kids there, the wife. Okay, that she is smart. So think about it, please, for a little bit, and let's go into follow the rest of the season, and we'll see where it goes. That's gonna be my crackpot theory, okay? And if anybody on this internet wants to fucking know a good one,
on this
we'll
here
put a post
internet
up about it. Yes, on this here internet, you can actually take this, make a reel.
Okay, Graybeard, settle down.
Yeah, Graybeard,
make a reel.
Hey, direct your complaints to JT in the comments, please. All right, everybody. So here we go. Here's the power ranking. Okay, rank these things for me. Okay, in order of grossest to least gross. Okay, we got the belly open birth. Okay, the one where she dies at the start. Okay, the what's her name? His wife, Viserys' wife. Okay, that was that one, right? Yeah, that one. We got the head coming out of her, like the head
standing.
Yes, when she's standing. That one. Yes. Okay.
Okay.
We got the cutting sound of this of Jaehaerys here at the end of this episode. Okay. And we got the maggots in the skin on Viserys's back.
I think that was the most grossest out of them all, bro.
Am I missing anything? Or Buddy's head getting chopped in half?
That was CGI. It didn't bother me.
Corliss's brother, right? Because he has
our gross meters are so gonna be off. But go ahead, because that totally didn't faze me whatsoever. I was like, yeah, go whatever, cool.
Well, I would probably put that last too. Okay,
yeah,
go ahead. Let's hear your power ranking. JT, go ahead.
Okay, I think the maggots were the worst.
The maggots were the worst for you. Okay, so it's not for me. Okay, go ahead. All right.
Yeah, the maggots were the worst for me. Okay.
Then what?
Then I think the belly being cut open.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Watching that, I mean, that's a real. They have like a real fish, like fake thing there. They had to make that look real. That's not CGI. It can't all be CGI. It has to be some sort of post production sort of crap, right? But so it did look really creepy, man, for me. Okay.
Yeah.
The other one was the head getting coming out of the body.
That was third for you, really? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
The head just dropping out here.
That one. The birth.
Gravity does take over. That could happen, right? I mean, I know how body works.
What's fourth? The sawing of the off-screen, the sawing of the kid's head,
and
Buddy's head getting cut in half, right?
Okay. Because those two things didn't faze me because one, you didn't see, first of all. You only heard it.
Okay, but the sound was gross. We just played it a little while ago.
Okay, the sound didn't even faze me, bro. I could play that full blast on my stereo in my car. It really doesn't bother me. It's like hearing fucking Halloween sounds when you're playing a Halloween tape.
Those tapes, yeah.
Yeah, man. Like seriously, it's a cassette. Like really, that's all they did. They pushed play on a cassette. It was like a Michael Jackson Thriller thing.
Kids these days won't know about those tapes, right?
Exactly, man.
I still play that at Halloween.
Do you really?
Yeah, I find Halloween sounds and
the door. That creeps. Yeah, that creeps me open. The door.
The witch's
that creeps me open. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, more of the 80s, 90s fucking scary,
Coming
gruesome
back, eh?
stuff. Yeah, that's what
Well,
makes
it's how, but it's
the
how you
cutting of the
remember it.
body.
Yeah, it's yeah. All right, Christina, go ahead. Your power rankings. What would you say for the grossest moments on this show on House of the Dragon?
Definitely,
We may even be missing something. I don't know, but go ahead. What do you think's first?
definitely. Oh yeah, the crab king, the crab feeder being cut in half and being
That's
dragged out.
yeah.
I mean, it was gross. I mean, his intestines
Sure.
were dragging
That's
around.
true.
Anyways,
That's true.
but
Yeah,
gross.
but we just didn't see him get cut.
This Jaharis.
This is
Poor
number
little
one
boy.
for you,
This
really?
is disgusting. Like it actually makes me like making me nauseous. Like
You don't
my
want to talk
stomach is
about it
turning.
anymore, right? Yeah. Okay.
It's gross. Like
Sure.
it's disgusting. Especially now you guys keep talking about the sound.
Okay, that's number one.
Can I ask you a quick question though before you go to number 2?
No,
Is
we're
that
not
only
talking
because
about
you might have a newborn.
I mean, it doesn't
Sorry?
help. I'm sure.
Is it just how because you have?
Does
like,
it
say,
help
like
that I have a newborn? Yeah, it so helps.
Or
Makes
like
me
if
yeah.
you would have thought 5 years ago, if I would have asked you the same question, what would you have thought?
Who knows, Jay? Who knows?
Exactly.
These are the hard hitting questions that Jay wants to know.
Who knows?
All right, so that's
Okay,
first.
That's gross because it's like wow. At first I didn't even pay attention, but now you asked me. If you asked me this beginning of the episode, I would have said, "Nah, didn't faze me." Now, gross, absolutely disgusting. Want
Okay.
to vomit. Blech.
Okay.
Number one. Number two. The maggots were kind of gross
Yeah.
because I just don't like maggots. Maggots are disgusting. Like they're just gross,
Same here.
but
Mhm.
not scary or anything. Just disgusting. Just
Yeah.
gross. Probably gross. The slicing of the head.
Okay.
Corliss's brother.
Okay.
And then yeah, probably the cesarean birth is number 4.
And then the head.
And then
one-
the stillborn like
Yeah.
vaginal birth. Yeah,
Yeah.
probably number 5. Just
Last.
because it's like they're not gross to me. They're just shit that happens. They're just traumatic shit that happens.
Okay.
It's not gross to me. It's just
Right.
traumatic shit that happens.
So that's funny because I get that and I understand what you're saying with that though, but I would probably put the stillborn the head coming out as first. To be honest, that was pretty shocking to me to see that like in a scene depicted.
This
Wow.
guy.
Yeah, that was kind of gross
That's
to
gravity.
me personally. And then I would probably say the maggots. And then I would probably say the no, Jay's right. The fact you don't see it as bothersome as it is, it does make it a little easier. So I will say it's a toss up between the belly cutting open and the sound one. Probably the sound and then the belly. Actually, I'll say. But
add the sound to the belly being cut open and listen to that all together as one.
that wasn't
and tell
great
me-
either.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm gonna make her sick. All right, it's gonna have to rush on screen. Okay.
It's okay. It's a good
And
reel
then,
to
and
put
then the
in.
head
if
and
she
then the
gets
head
sick.
cutting off would be last. There you go. There's our power rankings of the grossest things on House of Dragons, everyone. This is the type of content you come to the show for. And
This is what
topic.
usually gets edited out.
Yeah. All right, so Christina, hopefully you'll be
If you could
joining us
speak,
again
yeah.
next week.
I gotta go to bed after this. Like, oh my god.
I know.
I need to
Sorry.
play like Hogwarts Legacy or something just to like
Here,
Come
I
down
got
off
something
of
that-
this.
yeah,
oh, yeah.
play The
I'm gonna
Sims
send
or
you
something.
that'll-
Don't you
I'm gonna send
dare.
you
If,
something.
what do you
No,
what are
it's
you
okay.
sending me
Probably
or
sending
playing?
him a picture of himself. That's pretty gross.
No, what are you doing?
I don't know what he's doing.
There you
I don't
go.
know.
Yeah, if you don't have a cell phone with you right now, then you're not gonna know.
I
All right.
do.
Don't
didn't-
look.
Oh my god, what is it? Okay, no, this is
You
live,
have to
guys.
look. You have to look. Don't. You have to look.
Okay, so they made her laugh.
Sorry, I had to. Just picture it like that, though. Just picture
That's
it like
not
that.
real.
And he goes like, "What is he sending her? What is he sending her? Send it
It's
to
not
me."
real.
What did he send you?
I'm gonna put it on
I'm
the
showing
screen.
you.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I'm showing Nico.
Oh, that's not real. See, that's. Hold on. Yeah, that's not me. All right, that's made up. This is one of this guy's fucking AI things or whatever. Yeah,
Yo, don't
Not
ever,
me. Somebody sent
Don't-
it to me.
don't put the shit on
I know.
AI.
I know.
What's wrong
He's
with
making it
you?
smarter. I'm like
I
out
didn't do
there
it.
now on the AI.
I didn't do it. It got sent to me. I don't know by who. It was sent to me by somebody that's laughing. I say, look to see Nico with long hair before.
I'm
It was
like,
probably
I
my brother
swear
or Peter
that
or somebody.
that's taken at my house, and I'm like,
Oh, maybe I don't
it
know.
was, That was taken at my house when you came over for the wing thing, the wing challenge.
Oh, maybe.
So I don't know who said it to me then.
May have been your husband actually that did that. To be honest with you,
I think it was Louis actually.
because he's the one that did. Remember we made all the old photos of us. That was him too.
Yeah,
right?
he knows better than to
No, I'll tell you because I save all my messages.
do
So
this
yeah.
AI
he
crap.
has no problem throwing my name into it, my image into it. Apparently, jeez. Well, there you go. There's me with long hair, everybody. I bet you didn't expect to see that.
Talking about gross things on the internet. No,
All right,
make it blonde. That would be even better with the eye patch.
all right. We're gonna wrap it up
we're
now
done.
though, because now we're just derailed the whole show. But thank you everybody for tuning in. As I mentioned, we will be doing these shows weekly live, a weekly live recap of these episodes when they come out. Usually, like I said, we're going to try to aim for Wednesdays at 9, but make sure to follow us on Instagram or hit the notification bell to be notified of when these videos do come out. And yeah, we'll be tuning in every week to watch these episodes and then talking about them a couple days later. Christina, I think, will be joining us throughout, and I think we might have some other guests on as well. We'll see what happens. But yeah, always a good time. Christina, thank you for, as always, sitting in with us
Thank
here.
you
And
guys.
being the third chair here with us and listening to our nonsense.
Had a blast. Let's see what next week brings.
Always a good time. Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait till the next episode. And make sure out there, guys, if you guys do check this out, that you like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much for checking it out. Leave us a comment about your comments on Game of Thrones if you want to join in on the conversation. And make sure to tune in because you will have a live chat set up. These are the first episodes we've ever done live of Watching the Throne because we want to kind of share in on the goodness of being a fan of this show with everybody else out there as well. So get in on the conversation. And we'll see you guys next time. Thanks, everybody. All
Put
right.
my favorite song on.
Lullaby.